guys, welcome back to our podcast Warga Plus 62. And today we're going to talk about a news that's really interesting and also really enjoyable, but also really suspicious, which is the news about drug raids in Berlin, Jakarta. I am host named Torres and we have our co-host Dea. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Barang lo, Get.
Bukan Pak. Bukan Pak, bukan.
Itu lihat.
Ya bukan Pak saya Pak, bukan Pak, bukan saya Pak.
Saksi yang tadi diambil dulu ibunya.
Alright, so recently there was a drug raid in Berlin, East Jakarta. This place is really known for just a lot of people just having to use a lot of drugs. And I don't know why, but that's just what it says. There was rumors and smells of the drugs. And that's really, really shocking because I thought there weren't any rumors, you know? And there's a lot of people that's just overall just been really, really just complaining about the drug raid suspicion. Now, with that being said, I don't know why people use the drug rate, but thankfully there are a lot of people that's willing to, just find out if there are drug rates or not. With that, police officers actually have one dog that's really, really determined to find and just obey the news to find the drug rates. So, what do you think about the police officer and the dog there?
Oh, well, I think it's a really smart idea to use a dog to inspect the area. As you can see, this dogs have very keen senses of smell, so by just a small amount of time, they can detect anything.
Exactly. After that, the process begins for minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and then after that, the police officer thankfully found it thanks to the dog. And then after that, the police officer showed the drug rates to the camera. There are many different kinds of drug rates, but they only show some of them because if they show all of them, they are actually just going to take a lot of time in the news. Now, with that being said, everyone was just really shocked when the dog is able to find the drug rates. And the event held for a very long time, but thankfully the citizens and the civilians was able to not quarrel along the suspicion time. So what do you think about this case?
Still, main point, the dog did majority of the work. Um, Countries and outside of Indonesia use dogs to, as in this case, they use dogs to find drugs, dead people maybe, and like it's really efficient. And what shocks me the most is like the dog actually helps people, you know? Like they are working together to finish this case.
Now, what everyone really said is that after they found the drug rates, everybody was just really, really grateful about it. The citizens were surprised, the police officers were surprised, and the main people, the MC that's talking about the news, are just overall really grateful. Even though it was chaotic at first, and the place was seen really abandoned, really dirty, and just overall really old. Now, the main purpose of this drug rate suspicion is just really to overall find out if there is people that are using drug rates or not in that place. And after minutes begin, and they're all really determined, the dog obeyed perfectly, doesn't protest. They're able to find it, and thankfully everyone just waited patiently, and they're just waiting for it to whether there's drug rates or not. There's actually some drug rates still until this day and age. Now, Surprisingly, they have to, find it in three places of the drug raids. They are able to have to find three places, and that take a little long time. There's a lot of abandoned places and a lot of smokes, and so. But thankfully, because of the dogs, everyone is actually relieved that they have able to find the truth. So, what do you think about this case there?
Uh, yeah, it's a really interesting case. I don't have any like dramatic opinion about this case, but I do feel like there's like this connection between us and the animals, you know? Like this dog is helping us because if it weren't for this dog, it could possibly take days for us to figure this case out. I believe this raid is really necessary because they help drug distribution that are like very inefficient, and like relying completely on raids is also inefficient. And on the good side, agency as in like BNN, the NE or PORI are like working together. They're like working together to finish this case, and like this case is really well planned though. Like government is like they're taking this seriously. Even though I support the raid, I can't ignore the fact that drugs are the main root of the problem. People still choose to take drugs as a coping mechanism, for example. They help, I don't know, like escape reality, hopelessness, poverty. And if we don't stop this addiction, it's gonna like run over and over and over again. So, yeah, I'm just glad this situation was solved very well.
I completely agree with all your opinions, and I just want to add something that just what you said earlier, that a lot of people are just using drugs to escape reality. Maybe they are not having enough financially. Maybe they are feeling alone or so. But overall, I agree that this event and just this news and just the overall drug raids thing actually went really well, and everyone was just seemed really determined. Even though at first the feelings were feeling like really quarreling, but everyone was just really relieved at the end of it. So with that being said, I just want to say that if you have like problems or just generally struggling with life, don't use drugs as a coping mechanism and just choose other things that are, better for your overall health, mental health, and so. So with that being said, that's really all for our news, and just don't use drugs as a coping mechanism. See you all next time, and goodbye.